Hey everyone, and welcome back to Disco Elysium, where we are browsing the bookstore. We have a new objective. The current most important thing we need to do is to
You
get
see a
25
set of
real
tattered curtains blocking the way to another room.
so
A
that we
strange
can
cage-like trinket
buy a
dangles
copy
from the
of
curtains.
D&D to play with Kim, because Kim is our friend. And we also need to buy a book about cockatoos.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only. Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The book...
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell on you, urging you to buy more books. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you.
She's a witch!
This is a traditional Serenity ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses, and other supernatural scourges. Inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme,
Yes,
the
we've
Seminole
met.
Islands down south.
We've met one, I think.
Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fishhead charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once more.
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers.
I'm not a customer, I'm a cop.
Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences. It's too dangerous.
Okay, now I want to know what the fuck's behind those
She
curtains.
looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains.
It's definitely about the curse.
Why? It's not like anyone was killed there.
Was anyone killed there?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I
Am I-
can't allow that.
Am I gonna
You'll
find
only
your
make things
husband's
worse and
corpse in the
unleash
back
the
room?
powers. You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir. No! Please just talk to me, officer. Come here and let's talk this through before you decide to do anything extreme.
Okay, let's finish internalizing Ace's high. Oh, we can't. We have to finish this interaction.
Talking is always good. Go see what she has to say. There is something mysterious about the curtains. Be careful. The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
Ignore them for now.
Aces high. For the rest of the world, the Aces High is just a cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket, just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades, and those cargo pants could store tools for hotfixing your aerostatic. Maybe you should ask him about this.
+1 empathy towards Kim, +1 esprit de corps. Okay, we do have a new hat. Yes, we want the cowboy hat. Less reaction speed, but we won't get a malice to rhetoric. Let's
In
interact
your
with the board
hands,
game.
you hold a brand new copy of the game, Serenity. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic.
Peel the plastic off.
The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work.
Ah, the capitalist.
The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals. The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens and feel their weight shifting back and forth.
This sounds promising.
What treasures wait in store for you? Even before you open it, you can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interactions. The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance. There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components.
Full color, wooden figurines. This is fancy.
Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel.
Yeah, more like plunder and
The
exploitation.
colourful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling.
Yeah, I'm sure they're very happy.
You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family game. Only
Wait.
one way to find out.
No. Is there?
The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points.
Yeah, fuck the suzerain.
There is no path to wealth and renown but through the suzerain. As one of the suzerain's trusted administrators, your very function is the glorification of Revachol.
I don't like this.
That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners. Remember, there are many paths to victory in suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly.
How do you win?
The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now. You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play. Each cardboard token makes a satisfying tsk as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
Oh, I'm sorry. I would have let you if I knew you were interested.
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, grey marble block tokens. From the Semenine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supramuindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Ooh, tell me more about these cocaine leaves.
Oh, those are nice.
You hold the open game box before you.
Hey Kim, wanna play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours.
Sounds like fun. Let's waste the rest of the day.
I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Come on.
What?
Damn
Does
it.
the lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police? The lieutenant gives you a sour look. He may or may not hate fun, but either way, He does not appreciate your attitude.
Okay, do we have anything that will make... I can't access the inventory. Okay, let's try again.
Have you tried goading him?
In your dreams, maybe. I've thrashed my share of trash talkers before. Now come on, let's put childish things aside.
Ignore the mock umbrage. Now he wants to prove it to you.
Let's try it one more time.
At this point, plain badgering may be your best bet.
Please.
All right, detective, you win. How do we play this game?
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you.
I mean, it's not like we should be doing actual police work or anything.
In the center is the crown of Revachol. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Serenity Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sara Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board, and the others to the Serenity Islands.
All right, detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away, or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
Okay, let's play the long game.
What is the very beginning of the game? Your workers haven't even done any work yet.
Okay, make them work a little, but not too much.
That's more like it. You produce a handful of archaeological treasures and a smattering of other resources. Meanwhile, the lieutenant spends 2 of his sugar and 1 of his apricot tokens to complete his contract card. He is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
The lieutenant returns your baleful look with a satisfied grin. Come on, is that your game face? You're practically broadcasting your position to the lieutenant with that expression. Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain.
Exactly.
Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
I mean, we should reward our workers.
To the lieutenant's puzzlement, you spend several turns building various improvements to your territorial infrastructure. Soon, your workers have access to clean water, paved roads, and basic hobbies. In
This is
return,
great.
they produce
This
one
is
extra
this is
resource
amazing.
per turn.
See, we are valuing our workers, and we are being rewarded by that.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points. Take a look at the scoring tables in the back. You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
Yeah, so you're saying the values of the ruling caste are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth?
Yes, precisely.
Damn. That's bad.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritsa, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points.
Amazing.
You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safre in the middle of the last century.
I would like to know more.
Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safre. By introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
Ah, the Opium Wars.
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens each turn.
This sounds like a winning strategy. Let's do some Opium Wars.
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Ah. Sorry, I gotta. That's my path to victory right there.
With each passing turn, you slowly bleed the lieutenant of coins as his own workers become less productive and more dependent on your magenta cocaine tokens. As a matter of historical fact, this is almost exactly what happened in Safre. To this day, fully half of the former Safre Empire remains dependent on international aid in exchange for a steady supply of cheap produce.
More or less.
Realizing victory is slipping away, the lieutenant launches a desperate gambit: protectionism. By erecting tariffs on your cocaine, he hopes to starve you out of the market at the risk of incurring the suzerain's disfavor. The end game is upon you. Do you escalate the trade war with the lieutenant in hopes of crushing him with your economic might?
I mean, it's time for some gunboats.
Or do you ignore his aggression and focus on building the mighty victory column structure in Revachol herself? Alternatively, you could throw the whole game away by trying to build a public education system for the children of your workers.
I mean, I know what must be done.
The choice is yours. There's a reason very few players ever attempt to build a public education system for their worker tokens. It's extremely expensive and never pays off by design. Your boondoggle nearly bankrupts the suzerain's treasury, and you suffer a significant penalty to your final score.
I don't care, the kids can read.
Ouch. Come on, detective. You knew the rules of the game going in. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. -5 victory points.
Fuck.
You'll be lucky if the suzerain doesn't have your whole family executed for such a pitiful performance.
I've got 20 points. Well, there's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again.
Aww, but I wanted to play this game again. Not now, but in the future.
Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you.
This was fun at least. Okay, let's get our cockatoo book.
The plaque on the shelf reads, biographies of famous people. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell.
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to innocentic power. A very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer, and law officers have at least some education.
Yeah, let's say that I don't.
The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point and a shift in the tired order of things. Perhaps for a layman, deep analysis is necessary to peel back the multi-layered meanings.
Is she telling me to read theory?
Do her words seem vague and abstract to you?
Certainly, it's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding of history and society. Imagine the chaos we'd be in otherwise.
You feel like you should get this one? Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside.
A true cultural touchstone. Enjoy the read.
Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these seem important or relevant. It's all just vapid egoism. Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love, the tragic true love story of Jacob Irv and Alfie Delatraz, by one Cecilia Averbrook. High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Irv. His blonde mane graces the cover. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into
Ow.
the other.
Ow. Fuck. Ouch. Damn it. Like, that is... Just hearing that is fucking painful. Jesus fucking Christ.
Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den. He's a permanent fixture on Channel 8, reporting on real-life crime and ruining cops' days.
Yeah, let's move as far away from needles and eyes as possible.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse, though, but not too long. I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce.
Okay, let's get to the White Morning first. Plus 20% zoom out distance. Okay, where's the cockatoo book?
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature. Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. These three things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services. It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to and which costs more than this book, is garbage and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything.
So it's a bullshit peddler, I see.
Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything. Though it is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium, It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And
I mean, this sounds like very important skills for me to have.
there's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this? The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pearl.
Tell me more.
The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted. The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the pearl, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pearl.
Kinky.
It is, and good for the circulation too.
Tell me more.
It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pearl.
This sounds
Readers
amazing.
are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pearl and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired. Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health.
This is amazing. I must have it.
That seems improbable. For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pearl, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions.
That makes total sense.
This is exactly what you need.
I agree.
There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
Considering how much I drink, I probably need that.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you've been perusing that particular volume long enough. If you'd like to continue reading, I must insist you buy it.
Fine.
Indeed. Something about that book does seem to have spoken to you. Well, I hope it contains what you're looking for.
I'm out of money, so I can't buy the cockatoo book.
This bookstore.
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. That wisdom is not for free. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
Police store? Okay. Is that the cockatoo book?
A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover.
It
Its
is.
beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title. From A to Zurich, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. Turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and they all have behavioral problems. You don't have behavioral problems. That's garbage. You're cool.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
You've already taken enough of my money.
You wait for the storekeeper to be distracted. When she's not looking, you haul the tome of cockatoos into your pocket.
I must have the book.
It's quite a challenge, but eventually, the guide to the cockatoos is yours. Splendid effort.
Success.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over. Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf?
Why the hell not?
You see, Dick Mullen on the job. Get Me Mullen. The Stalwart Adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the Murder in the Orchard. The Sordid Affair of Dick Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the Murder House.
Sounds
The
interesting.
Final Case of Dick Mullen. An Obvious Lie. Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower. The Ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre. The Murder of Dick Mullen. Oh no, turns out he faked it to solve a case. Yes, there's also The Dame Who Did It. Farewell, My Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The morbid tales of Dick Mullen. A dark tide turns. Tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen, the murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer.
So it's like Dexter.
After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Your attempt to grasp at the
Fuck.
answer fails. It seems very close by, pulsating just out of reach.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, let's talk to her about the weird curtains.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
You really need to come up with a better store name.
I already told you, it's just a storage room for employees. I don't understand why it's so important to you. Just let it go, officer. Go buy some goddamn books. You're supposed to be drawn to the books.
She recites it like it's a poem, or like she's playing a role she's grown tired of.
A spell? As if. This place doesn't need any spells or hoodoo mumbo jumbo. This place has wonderful energy. Okay, fine. It's because this place is cursed. Just like Annette said, they don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Are you happy now, officer? Happy that you've ruined everything? The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy.
Didn't that curtain just move?
Wait, what?
It's not just that, officer. We're dealing with something supernatural here. It's the cacodemons feeding off bad
The
business
what?
practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I feel unwanted too.
Truly so? Perhaps the dark energies are leeching off you. You shouldn't stay in the store too long. It may be dangerous. Most certainly not. I don't want anyone who's not familiar with the psychic arts to get involved in this mess. Stay away. Leave the spirits be, so they can return to their slumber.
But I am a ghost
My
cop.
liege, you know what this case calls for? A para-detective.
Yes.
Slither up to her, you silver-tongued fiend. Show her what world-class perfidy looks like.
Are you sure? Don't think I haven't seen charlatans before. I'm not sure I can trust your claims. Honestly, you look like a bit of a drinker. I'm sorry for being so blunt, but
Yeah, the heavy consumption of alcohol helps me commune with the spirits.
The lieutenant keeps his usual stony calm. He silently picks out his notebook. Go ahead then, rock her world, he thinks. I'll compose some notes.
It is necessary to drink.
How do you know all this?
I told you I'm a ghost cop.
Here we go.
I'm the Void Revenant.
I should have realized. A pattern lies within the fabric. The hand of fate guides us. Our meeting couldn't have been mere chance.
Perhaps you truly are the one to deliver this woman from the doom.
But I am not the only one at risk. I have to think of my daughter. You are certain you can help us? Keep us safe? I can't allow any collateral damage to hit us.
Kim will vouch for me.
Oh,
Won't you, Kim?
certainly so, ma'am. I can assure you my partner is eminent in this particular field.
If you promise, good officer, then you might be our last hope. Do you swear it? Thank you, sir. There's one more thing I haven't told you about yet. The entity.
Oh fuck, we're dealing with entities here? I'm fucking out. No, forget about it.
Do not act surprised. You know of these things, sire.
You have? The entity takes the form of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she must be connected to the curse ever since I first saw her. Did you know that she lives inside the chimney? Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She has barricaded herself behind some metal security curtains. God knows what she's doing there. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the company. Oh, and please do return to me after you've looked round. I'm quite anxious to know what she has to say about the curse. What you discover in there.
Unbelievable darkness and ruin. What you discover? Probably just some office space. Don't be scared.
Okay, but please, only a few questions. It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Of course. You should never anger the Void Wraiths.
Wow. Void raves. You have new words.
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists, and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the wards. The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building, even though now I fear it's not enough. Oh, this! No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans, with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books.
Seriously, this is the whitest woman I have ever seen in my entire life.
There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%.
Desert pygmy shamans. That sounds like a rather questionable way to describe a group of people.
Yeah, not even gonna touch that.
The woman looks aloof, her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette.
Well, and this is gonna have to be it for this episode. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that make the algorithm happy. And as always, I will see you next time.